Okay, so good morning, everybody. It's great to
Good
be here.
morning.
Thank you so much for coming, Lorna and Mick, to this session to answer so many questions on microfinance Ireland on getting a business loan. So I'm Toluwani Akahome. I'm the founder of Her Journey to Africa, and it is my pleasure to welcome you. Thank you so much once again. We'll have people, of course, joining us a few more people that are coming in and they've joined us, but we're going to start right away. And of course, on that note, I'm just going to hand over to you. I know people have questions that will come to them as you're going on with your presentation. So what I would encourage people to do that while the presentation is going on, would you please just put your questions in the chat, or maybe you leave them until the end, and then we can take them at some point. So over to you, Lorna. Thank you once again.
Thanks, Toluwani, for asking us on this morning and inviting us on. And good morning, everyone. So we're going to speak to you this morning about Microfinance Ireland, and just really to introduce ourselves for those of you who are not familiar with us. So I'm joined by my colleague Mick, who is our head of credit. We're going to go through the slides, but if anyone has any queries throughout, you can pop a question into the chat box, or we're happy to answer the questions at the end of the webinar as well. So I'll pass you over to my colleague Mick, who's going to talk you through who Microfinance Ireland are.
Okay, good morning, everybody, and thank you so much indeed for giving us the opportunity to present the background and the history and the ethos of Microfinance Ireland. First of all, we are a government-funded lender. We were set up in October 2012 at a time when the Irish economy was really struggling, and that the main banks were adverse to supporting startup businesses or any business that had any negative history emanating from the property crash back in 2007, 2008. As we've just been discussing, we are now doing our business loans between 2,000 and up to 50,000, and we provide loans for working capital, asset purchase, fit out, repairs, whatever you so wish. We do support Irish-based businesses, as I said, startups and established businesses. And we don't formally require a formal bank decline letter at the outset of applying to ourselves, because I adjudicate on them as they come across to ourselves before they go out for assessment, if it's a bankable deal or not. So we can just move forward and take it that we will be dealing with non-bankable deals. We support sole traders, registered partnership, and limited companies. So we cover all legal entities that want to apply to Microfinance Ireland. Okay. Now, who may apply to Microfinance Ireland? Fewer than 10 full-time employees and not be bankable. And what we mean by 10 full-time employees, that we see a lot of applications coming in, especially from the hospitality sector, that may have 2 or 3 permanent staff, and they may have 10, 12 staff on part-time work. And our definition of a full-time job is somebody who's doing 37 to 40 hours per week. So if you have 2 part-time staff doing 20 hours each, that equates to 1 full-time job. It's just a simple mathematical solution to quantify the number of jobs that we take that. And if you have a lot of part-time employees, we do like to get a letter from the accountant just confirming the total number of jobs within the business, because we cannot exceed 10 full-time jobs. And please bear in mind that one of those jobs would be your own job that you're sustaining or creating for yourself within your business. As I've said, the deals cannot be bankable. Okay, at least 1 full-time position must be created or sustained, and that must be created within the Republic of Ireland, and your business must be located in the Republic of Ireland, which is very important. The maximum amount of turnover is 2 million, excluding VAT, and we also have a 2 million tolerance level imposed on us by the EIF in Europe, that your total value of your balance sheet for fixed assets plus current assets cannot exceed 2 million. Thank you, Laura. These are just some very high restrictions, and please have a good look at our website where we have the full comprehensive list of excluded sectors within Microfinance Ireland. But just at a very high level and for discussion purposes, excluded sectors, any business that is 100% focused on distilled alcohol, whether you're brewing it or selling it, and that being your vodka, gin, brandy, whiskies, that is totally excluded. But up until, and that was to do with all alcohol up until recently, and MFI sought approval from Europe, and what we can now support businesses typically take an off license that sells distilled alcohol and undistilled alcohol, and undistilled alcohol being your beer and your wine. Once 40% of the total turnover of the business is less being generated by distilled alcohol, we're covered off. So we can help those businesses up to 40% for distilled alcohol. For tobacco-related retail outlets, if your business is purely to sell e-cigarettes or vapes or those related products, we cannot do that. But again, if you have a shop, a delicatessen, a small supermarket or whatever else, that you offer tobacco and cigarettes and vapes as part of your offering, again, once the total sales from those products don't exceed 40%, we can help you out on that. One sector that we cannot get involved in because we're using taxpayers' money is that we will never support casinos, betting shops on betting shops being Paddy Powers or the local bookmakers, or any apps that encourage people to gamble their own money. So that is one sector that we definitely do not support. Moving across, we cannot fund research and development, and I'd like to take 2 minutes just to clarify that point for you, please. If you have an embryonic idea of creating an app for whatever, and it's purely at embryonic stage being developed, we cannot support that development because we have no visibility as to when you will be generating meaningful cash flow. It could be 6, 9, 12 months away before you actually get the product to market. But if you have an app or a project that you've researched and developed and is near good to market, near generating cash flow, maybe within 2 months, we can certainly look at those on a case-by-case basis. So there's a slight differential between a pure startup research and development project and something that's near to market. We don't do debt restructuring. So if somebody has an existing loan with the credit union or with the bank, and the bank are putting pressure on for full repayment, we cannot restructure or refinance any debt from an existing organization. And we don't do bridging, whether it's open bridging or closed bridging, because again, we don't take collateral for our asset-backed collateral for loans, and we have no visibility on when that may come through. And again, I would encourage everybody to have a good look at our website. We have, Lorna will mention this later on, and we have a queries mailbox that we can take any queries that you may have from any questions that you spot on the website. Thank you.
Great. Thanks, Mick. Okay, so just to talk you through some of the kind of stats since our inception. So through the loans that we've given to various different businesses, we've helped to support and create over 11,000 jobs. We've lent over 89 million euro, and we've approved over 5,470 loans. So it's really positive, and the type of businesses that we do support is very diverse. So just to give you a flavor of some of those, the various different industries. So it can be anything from cafes to boxing clubs, hairdressers, beauty salons, the list goes on. So just to talk you through some examples here. So Damien Young from Zeus Scooters. Zeus Scooters is a mobility scooter company based in Carlow. Damien came to us when he had the idea for Zeus Scooters. He needed to get funding to help him develop his prototype. He applied for a loan with us and he was successful. He was able to then develop the prototype scooter, and since then his business has grown. He's exporting to Germany. He's won various different awards. So we were very happy to be able to help Zeus Scooters from their inception, really. Laura Ward from Bright Sparks Montessori. So they're Montessori based in Dublin. Paul Carroll from Gan House. They are a boutique type hotel, B&B, based in Louth, within the hospitality industry. So we were able to help them out during COVID when they were having issues with cash flow. Joe Phelan from K2 Alpacas. So K2 Alpacas is a alpaca trekking tour organization, which is great fun, based in Wicklow. So we were able to help Joe to expand his business idea with the alpaca treks. Pascal Van Riet. So they are an artisan chocolate company based in Louth. John O'Donoghue from Dublin Indoor Football. It's self-explanatory. They do indoor football. and David McManus from Premier Timber Frame Homes. They're based in Tipperary. So David constructs fully timber frame homes, and David came to us actually back in 2020. He had just returned from New Zealand with an idea to set up this construction company building timber frame homes. So we were able to give him the funding he needed to buy the equipment, really the machinery and the equipment to help start his business. And then Shane O'Doherty from Hoth Adventure Company. So that just gives you a flavour of the type and diversity of businesses that we help, and it's becoming more diverse each day. As Mick kind of stated, there are some restrictions, but more or less we are able to help most type of businesses once there is revenue coming in and it's a good solid business idea. So just to talk you through our different loan packages then, just to give you an idea. So we have our small loan package. So that's from 2,000 to 5,000 euro. And that's for both startups and established businesses that have lower funding requirements. So the repayments there are fixed. The interest rate is 6.5%. However, if you go through your local enterprise office, you can apply through your local enterprise office for a loan with us. They are a referral partner of ours, and they are a main referral partner. So they will actually help you to fill out your application form, get all of your documents together, and make sure it's in the correct kind of format for sending it through. Make sure it's kind of more likely to be approved, I suppose. So I would recommend if you could get in touch with the local enterprise office, it's preferable to do that purely because they make sure your documents are all correct. It's a speedier process once you have all your documents, and you will get a 1% discount on the interest rate if you go through your Leo. So it brings it down to 5.5%, which is great because it's actually a lot more competitive than the banks, although we're not allowed to compete with the banks. If you do get approved for a loan, you'll get post-approval mentoring through your local enterprise office, so they can help you develop your business idea even further and help out with your business plan. And there's a whole range of services and courses that they can provide you as well for free. So that's our small loan package. Then we have our higher loan packages. So our startup loan is from 5 to 50,000 euro. So this supports the setup and early stage businesses that have funding requirements. Then we have our cash flow loan from 5 to 50,000 euro. So that supports the cash flow and day-to-day running of a business. So if you're having any kind of cash flow difficulties at a certain period in time, we can assist. And then we have our expansion loan from 5 to 50,000 euro. So that's if you need capital expenditure for your business, you need to buy machinery, that type of thing. So as with the small business loan, the repayments are fixed. There's no fees or charges. The interest rate is 6.5%, and you'll get a 1% discount if you apply through your local enterprise office. And again, the post-approval mentoring is available from your local enterprise office. So just to talk you through the application process of how you might apply for a loan with us if you're interested. So I would recommend you go onto our website, microfinanceIreland.ie. You have a look there. Have a look at the type of loans that we offer, which I've just talked you through. But there's an apply now button, apply now or register now. So you apply on our website. It then invites you to register your details. So it's just a short amount of details, your business name, business type, what stage you're at. So once you submit that form, you'll then receive an email with the details on what documents you need to apply and how to submit your application. And that email also includes a link to our new application portal, which we've just launched in the last few months. So it allows you to fully apply online. Which is great because the process is a lot faster. And whereas before you could apply by post, or most people applied by email and attached all their documents, it was very cumbersome. But now with the new online application portal, it makes it a lot easier. So once you're in that portal, you then have the opportunity to send your application to your local enterprise office. So there's a drop down list where you can choose your local enterprise office and it will go to them. I would suggest maybe you flag it with the local enterprise office beforehand, or if you're in touch with them already, just to let them know that, you know, you are applying for this. But you're welcome to go online and start the application, send it, and then they will be in touch. So once you've gathered all your documents, you can submit your loan application. And once all of the documents have been sent through and are correct, you can expect a credit decision within 10 business days. If you're applying for our small business loan, it sometimes is a bit shorter than that because it's a lower amount, but usually within 10 business days once all of the documents have been sent through. So Mick is going to talk you through just the type of documents that we require to, in addition to the application form that you fill out either online or via email, but I would suggest you do it online. So Mick, if you could talk everyone through, that'd be great.
Yeah, thank you, Laura. Okay, everybody. Now, please understand that when you're applying to Microfinance Ireland for the first time, we have no relationship with yourselves. It's not like when if you're going into your bank, they already have a history of your bank statements or so we require quite a lot of documentation at application stage. But please bear in mind that the purpose of this is to allow us support you and to support your business on an informed basis. So, as Lorna said, you can do the application form online. There's a business plan template there as well. And please note that we don't require 100 pages of a business plan. We only want bullet points that are relevant to your specific business, to what you have done, your qualifications, your unique selling point, a little bit of an understanding and analysis on your competitors. And a simple point is that if you want to open up a coffee shop on High Street in Kilkenny, there's 5, 10, 15 coffee shops already open. So what's going to be your unique offering that will attract people into your business from other shops? So just to get a few bullet points is all we need in that. 2 or 3 pages maximum is suffice for a business plan. I'd say if the loan is for greater than 5,000, we do require a 12-month cash flow forecast. And please be realistic in what you put in to the cash flow forecast. I always quote this case, and Laura is tired of hearing it. We got an application in some time ago from a lady who was setting up her own hairdressing business in rural Ireland. And on the cash flow forecast, she put in that annual turnover was going to be 440,000 in the first year, working by herself. Now, on a very quick analysis, that meant that she had to deal with and help about 20 to 25 people per day by herself, which is just impossible to do. So I spoke to the lady, we had a very good conversation, and we revised the cash flow down to 40,000 turnover in the first year, which was realistic, and we're able to support her business on that. So please be mindful that we, the credit team and the assessors, will challenge you if the numbers are inflated and not realistic. So we're here to support businesses. We're not like the banks. We're here to do as much as we can to help people out. Moving on, we do require 6 months personal and 6 months bank statements if you have an existing business operational. And if you have a Revolut account, we do require 6 months bank statements from that as well. And the purpose of that is just to allow us understand the use of income coming into the household, realistic living expenses, and something to be very, very to note and be very much aware of is that if I'm applying in my own name, Mick Crowley, for a loan from Microfinance Ireland, but my partner or my spouse is working outside my business, be it a nurse, a hairdresser, working in a shop or whatever else, while we don't have that income as part of debt serviceability into loan, we take full recognition that that money is coming into the household to enable you to have a realistic standard of living within the household, which is very important. As Lorna has said, if you come to the local enterprise offices, which we do encourage, they will fill up a local evaluation report form that gives value to the proposition coming into ourselves because they're local, they're on the ground, and can help you pre-application stage and then post-approval, hopefully. If you're applying in the name of a limited company, Microfinance, we will do the central credit report search on the limited company, but you must provide the CCR for all directors and shareholders in your personal names and attach that as part of the application process. If you're trading for 18 months or more, which is the definition of an established business, we look for financial accounts, or at the very, very minimum, we look for the Form 11 of your annual revenue returns. And just before I move on, the way the process works within MFI is that once we receive in a completed application form, everything that we require, I send it. We have a team of assessors based all over Ireland. We have a team of 27 assessors. We have one in Kilkenny, one in Carlow, one in Wexford, two in Cork, that we assign that case to them because they have such local knowledge and understanding of what you're doing in the locality. And we find that very, very beneficial in the process. So the assessor would make contact directly with yourselves. You'd engage in a two-way conversation. He may send you some emails looking for clarification, but that's so unique from what the banks do because you're dealing with an actual person at the end of an email or certainly on the phone. And we do a very personalized process during the assessment period. Okay, Laura,
Thanks,
that's,
Mick.
I
Thank
think that
you.
covers off slide 11. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's the end of the presentation really, but we're happy to answer any queries you guys may have. You can kind of go through any queries now, but we're also happy to if you want to pick up the phone and have a chat with us, or have a chat with Mick. Mick is our head of credit, so he would have a huge understanding of why a loan may be approved, or if you have a specific query around your application. We also have a dedicated mailbox that you can send an email to, which is queries@microfinanceIreland.ie. But happy to answer any queries at all you may have now.
And if I may just come in and give some benefit to the people on the call this morning, is that at this point in time, Microfinance Ireland, we only deal with non-bankable applications. So the banks have said no or won't entertain an application. We are approving 68% of completed applications that come into Microfinance Ireland. So our ethos and our mission statement is we endeavour to support the business as much as we can. If we get in an application for somebody looking for 25,000 euro to start up a business, we may not give the full 25,000 at the initial approval. We may give 15,000 that we perceive will allow the business to get open and get up and running, and afford you the opportunity to come back in maybe 6 months' time and shows that you're generating cash flow, you have debt serviceability, and then we can look at entertaining a second application to bring the business forward. Also, people say, okay, Mick, that's great, you're approving 68% loans, but that means that you're declining quite a few loans as well. You will all appreciate that we can't do every loan that comes into Microfinance Ireland for various reasons. But suffice to say that if and when we decline an application, we do outline the core reasons and core credit concerns as to why we can't support the business. That affords you then the opportunity to submit a formal appeal on loans over 5,000 to 50,000. Again, coming back into ourselves with the benefit of what we have said that we could do the credit initially for you. And on the appeals coming in at the moment, we're approving 50% of appeals that come into ourselves. So again, we're always trying to back the promoter, get you up and running, sustain your job, or create you an employment opportunity for you in your locality. So we do everything to back the promoter as much as possible. So I'm happy to take any questions that anybody has.
There's one actually from FundMe, Mick. So how does the application work in terms of credit rating?
Okay, okay, very good question, Fumi. We get a report from the Central Credit Register that gives us a full breakdown of all of your existing loans and previous loans up to 5 years with financial providers. And that will show us your ability to repay a loan. Now, we do not solely run on the CCR report as a definitive document to approve or decline a loan. We have a huge understanding that people may have difficulty with a personal loan. There may be 1 or 2 repayments in arrears or whatever else. That's where the assessor will always engage with you to try and get an understanding as to what happened. People may have been sick with COVID. People may have had their own illness or an upset in the family or whatever. We try to get an understanding as to why that happened. And we take that on board with our assessment. Whereas the banks would look at somebody, if you missed one loan repayment on a car 18 months ago, oh, you're a bad risk, and they won't entertain it. Whereas we don't. We just take that as part of the assessment process to gain an understanding and to see, do you have a good attitude towards repaying debt? But a very good question. Thank you.
I have a question.
Yes, please.
Okay, for an existing business, right? That is already running, is a service business for us, and we're looking to expand. Do we need to go through the local enterprise office for that, for us to get to you, or could just go online and do it directly? And our expansion the loan we're looking for expansion is the more financial inflow for the company, especially in terms of paying staff members, the new team members you're adding to your team, have just for backups, while the team is working so much to push the business, but you have backup loan plan for.
Okay. Very good. Yeah. So you've asked two questions there, Precious. Number one, you do have the option to apply directly to Microfinance Ireland.
Okay.
You don't, it's not mandatory that you come through the local enterprise office. But if you apply to Microfinance Ireland directly, the standard approval rate is 6.5%. You don't get the 1% discount. Whereas if you come to the local enterprise office and you're approved, you get the 1% discount.
Okay.
That's number one. Number two, as you're expanding your business, as you said, you want to pay wages, that would be a working capital loan
Yeah.
that we would look at over the normal term is about 36 months. And we would give you maybe the first 3 or 4 or 6 months interest only to allow you to generate meaningful cash flow to take the business forward. So yes, you could apply to us as an established business for working capital loan.
Okay. And what's the rate? What's the rate for that? What's the highest?
Apologies.
Yes. What's the highest amount you can apply for?
The maximum loan limit at any one time is at 50,000 maximum loan exposure.
Okay.
And the interest rate, if you apply directly, is 6.5%. And if you apply through the local enterprise office and approved, it's 5.5%.
All right. Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah, for me, you had a question there. Would you want to?
Yes. So, good morning, everyone.
Morning.
My question is further to the last one I had typed in. What if I don't have any credit rating at all, or
Well,
credit history at all?
Yeah, that's a very good question from me. If you apply in your own personal name into Microfinance Ireland, the operations team will key in a search on your name, your address, your date of birth, and your PPSN number. And if that comes up as 0, that's fine. It's 0. We've done the search, and we just put that in part of the assessment documentation to go out to the assessor. You don't have to have a repayment profile with institutions to apply to Microfinance Ireland. We get a lot of people, because a lot of people coming into Ireland, from Ukraine, Africa, and others, who have no banking relationship in Ireland and they want to start up their own business. So we will do the CCR, and if it's a nil return, that's not an issue. There's no problem.
Okay, thank you. Then also, what if, for instance, there's a downturn in the economy and the business isn't making as much as you thought it would make? What happens then?
Again, a superb question, and thank you for asking that. This is where Microfinance Ireland is so different than the banks. You will be dealing with, we have a dedicated team of people within my credit team who specifically help businesses that get into cash flow difficulty. So we have 4 people, and they would engage with you directly and say, okay, for me, you can't pay €278 per month at the moment because your business is down here. So we look and try and put a restructure in place that you would cover interest only for maybe the 3 or 6 months or whatever else, because our sole mission is to sustain the job that you've created. We want to try and keep the doors open for your business. We will work through you, and we have a definition. We have 2 definitions here in Microfinance Ireland. We have a cooperating borrower who gets into difficulty, and we have a non-cooperating borrower who gets into difficulty. So if you were getting into difficulty and you engage with ourselves, and please goodness, you'd be a cooperating customer and you send us stuff, we will do everything to support you over a period. If you have a loan over 3 years and you can't pay it, we can do a restructure over 5 years or 6 years to give you the ability to keep the doors open. That's a cooperating customer. Then we have people, and I mean, it's a fact, who are non-cooperating, that get into difficulty, and we ask for cash flow, we ask for bank statements, and they say no. Then again, that's a different approach, because if people don't engage with us positively, it's very, very hard for us to make an informed decision to support the business. But yes, the minimum that we would look for if a business gets into difficulty is to cover the interest on a monthly basis. So we do our best to work with you. Yeah, good question. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, Helen.
Eileen,
Yeah.
yes. Thank you for the opportunity. You see, I love having a business in Ireland here. That's a food business, like Nigerian food to cook in Ireland here. but cooking our food is tough. So I have the mind of bringing my family over to help me. And when I bring them, I have the plan because some of them are engineers, some are accountants, some are caregivers. That's their line of study with their family, you know. And the women will help me in cooking. Then the men can go and work. Then they can support my work, and my loan payment will be easier for me. So this have been in my mind. So this opportunity, I said maybe to talk it over with you. Is it possible that when you give her the loan, I could use some of the money to make this process so that when they come, then because I have the mind to make that's the food network, to have a B&B in it. That's we cook, then we have the B&B, and we can even make it like export or send to some other places while the cooking is going on. That is multitask. That's part of what I have for cooking side. And
Yeah.
that is if I have that opportunity for my
Yeah.
family. Otherwise, like hair, like this hair, I braided it myself. I do hair.
Okay.
I'm a beautician. Yes, I do hairdressing.
Let him
You see?
answer one first, Mr. Ellen.
Thank you.
Pardon?
Okay. Thank you. Thank
So,
you.
so Helen, to answer your, so please help me that I mentioned the question you asked. You would like to set up a business to start cooking Nigerian food, and
Yes,
you'd have your family in as a very strong support to your business.
correct.
Do you envisage having a state-of-the-art kitchen, or are you contemplating setting up a food truck that you would use at weekends, or what?
Not truck. That is a base. A
An actual
base
business
with
premises?
kitchen. Yes,
Okay,
full.
so you want to set up a coffee shop, a Nigerian food-based coffee shop, food shop.
Full job. Yeah.
Yeah. Yes, of course, we would entertain an application on that. But the most important things for you to really focus in on is the location of the business. If you're going to be renting a premises, you would certainly need to see a draft of the lease agreement. And then you would also have to then have a very good handyman, DIY construction person to advise you of how much the fit out costs are going to be, because there's a lot of legislation from the Food Standards Association of Ireland about stainless steel wash up areas, separate toilet facilities, and all that. So, but yes, we do, to answer your question, we do loans for startup businesses like that. Yes.
Thank you so much.
And
Thank you.
However,
I would, sorry, I would suggest, Helen, maybe the local enterprise office would be able to kind of assist you with that as well and give you information on, you know, finding a premises and, you know, even link you in with the FSAI, and just so you're up to speed on the food standards and everything that's required for a food business in Ireland, as well as that. If you don't have that already, that is.
Thank you. Thank you. I've already booked. I went to their office yesterday to book an appointment with them.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Best of luck.
thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Does anybody else have any question?
Okay, just one more question, and I didn't greet earlier. Good morning again, and thank you for holding this session, especially to the one and the microfinance team. The other question I have, I didn't get the repayment. Was it 36 months if you want to, for your repayment, if you want to get the business support loan? Is it
Yes.
running business support loan for 36 months? And the payment plan, does it start almost immediately, or you give the first 3 months? I think I would just want clarification, because I heard you mention something like that.
And thank you, Precious. Two very good questions. Number one, we can do a loan term from 1 month up to 5 years. The normal loan term for a working capital facility is normally 36 months.
Okay.
That can be extended out to 48 months, depending on the cash flow forecast your interaction with the assessors, and our final underwriting decision. What we normally do then is that based on the cash flow, we can give a maximum of 6 months interest only, normally 3 months, but between 3 and 6 months interest only to allow the business generate meaningful cash flow. And then to answer the final part of your question, so if your loan is drawn down today, being the 9th of April, your first interest repayment would fall due on the 15th of May and 15th of the month thereafter. So if you draw down on the 9th of April, you have nearly 6 weeks before you make your first interest payment on your loan.
Okay.
And the interest just accrues on that basis on that. So to recap, normally we do working capital facilities over 36 months, but we can do them out to 5 years if required. We can offer between 3 and 6 months interest only, depending on the business, and you have a period of time before the first interest payment is made by direct debit from your designated business account.
Okay. Then the case whereby you have, because I heard you mention Revolut account, and I know that I handle a group, and there's a time we had several, you know how they pay money into your account for particular projects we're doing. So if your account has had a lot of turnovers, especially your personal account, maybe Revolut account, does that have anything to do with you coming in for the loan? Because you may be seeing returns and turnover like, oh, there's funds, but is that actually the business funds?
No, and that's part of the application process, and that's where the engagement with the assessor is so important. Yes, we get in a lot of documentation and we scrutinize the bank statements and the activity within the bank statements, but that's only allowing us to help understand the income coming into the family network, the income coming into the business to generate a sustainable business that can make a loan repayment going forward. So it's all part of the assessment process.
No, the question is, there's a business account and there's a personal account.
Yeah.
Are we assessing the personal account and the business account at the same time? Or we're just doing the business account based on whatever comes into the business account?
Okay, super. Apologies for misinterpreting your question. Yes, we do. We'll focus on the business account, obviously, because that's where the cash flow is being generated from. But suffice to say that then on the personal side, we do want to make sure that you have a reasonable standard of living, that your business is generating enough cash to afford you that, and that you're not putting yourself under financial pressure. So if your business is in credit, uniformly in credit, but we see that your personal circumstances are under severe financial pressure, we'll engage with you to try and get an understanding. So while they're separate, they are part of the overall assessment.
Okay. Yeah, that's clarified. Thank you so much.
Okay, good.
Please, one more last question.
Before you ask, please, 1 second. Sarah has a hand up, please.
Hello, Sarah.
Good morning. I think I'm coming in later in the part of today. Like Toluwani said, my name is Sarah. My second name is Ogbonna. Sarah Ogbonna is my name. Good morning, everybody.
Sarah.
Morning.
Yeah. So I don't know where to start. Just give you a brief intro about myself and what I intend to do that I may need a soft loan for. I'm a registered nurse. I work in the community here in Waterford. I work as a nurse with people with intellectual disabilities, and also I work with the aged in nursing homes. My business idea that I want to roll out is to be able to do physical therapy, such as massages and other alternative health therapy. I have almost 20 years of experience in working in this area. I worked as a care assistant before I went on to train as a nurse. I qualified since 2010. I went back and had my master's in respiratory health in people in the community. So I do understand that a lot of people, due to either their disabilities or their age, live sedentary lives, and that kind of impedes their metabolism. Where I come in now is helping people in that area to have their body moving by either a plan that's been done by either another multidisciplinary team or me coming in to say, this person is stiff and I can help with massages and things like this. I also can do it for the general public, not only people with disabilities or the aged, because of the stressors that are out here. We live very stressed life. And also, I know the line of work that I work in, that people need massages and stretches and things like this for good bodily function. I have applied to the Waterford CTI to complete a course in that area. And although the fact that I'm a registered nurse gives me an edge over other therapists around, because I believe that I understand the anatomy of a human being. So because of my nursing background and my extensive experience, I think I have the knowledge, of being able to assess and know what to offer someone, as well as maybe working with a doctor or a physiotherapist to carry out some of these exercises or their program. I intend to have this at my house. I own my own house, but I know that I probably can do with a little bit of work to get a part of the house done to suit this physical therapy business. So that's me. Thank
Okay,
you.
Sarah, thank you so much, Nathan. That's a very comprehensive, and I understand your business model. Just a question for you, that's very important. Are you working full-time in a hospital at the moment as a registered nurse, or are you working on your own business?
I work part-time.
Only part-time?
I work every other week.
Okay, so then you would hope that this business opportunity would become your full-time employment as quickly as possible.
Eventually.
Yes. Well, then, because you're working part-time as a registered nurse at the moment, and the point is that you want to enhance your opportunities to become helping people with this respiratory illness and all those issues. Yes, you may apply to ourselves for loan that, but with the understanding that within a period of time, within 6 to 9 months, that this will become your full-time job. We can't have a situation whereby you will continue working 25, 30 hours per week as a registered nurse and maybe only doing 10 or 15 hours a week in your other business, because part of our eligibility criteria is that we must be creating or sustaining one full-time job. And as I said at the opening presentation, a full-time job equates to 37 to 40 hours per week.
Yeah, if I please God, when this becomes a reality for me, if I have enough clients and I have enough publicity, and I have, definitely I will be too glad to commit myself to it rather than have the.
Yeah, and it's a huge undertaking for anybody to start up a business. And I
Yeah.
mean, the pitfalls there, and people have asked, how can we help people out that get into difficulty and all that? So we will do everything to support your business, but the criteria is on eligibility, on creating or sustaining one full-time job.
Yeah, I understand.
That's great, sir. Yeah, great, good.
Mick, before Helen, as a follow-on to Sarah's question, does it mean then that with Sarah working full-time now, will she still be able to get a loan while working full-time
I
with the
don't work
understanding,
full-time.
part-time, I mean, while working part-time with the understanding that in the next few months, she will transition to the full-time in the business?
That is correct, Tulivana. But at the moment, because if Sarah was working full-time as a registered nurse doing 40 hours per week, she'd have no spare time or opportunity to create her own business. And then, I mean, and please forgive me, but the terminology that we do get in and out, quite a few applications for somebody that wants to turn a hobby into a business. And I mean, certainly helping people, aged people with respiratory issues, that's not a hobby, that's a passion and a huge commitment. But so that's the criteria, that the job will definitely become a full-time job in a period of time, being realistic. And that's based on the cash flow, how we're going to understand it, and the engagement with the assessor. But certainly I would encourage Sarah to start the process. Let's see what we can do. but with the caveat that it must become one full-time job, certainly no later than 6 months into the journey of the loan.
Okay, thank you.
Helen, I think
Helen.
Okay. I just want to clarify something. You mentioned loan. So, like I have a small loan I've taken. Do you say with that I can still have your loan, or that disqualifies me, or it doesn't matter?
you
Because
have
you know, Precious talks about your personal account. You know?
okay, Helen, you have an existing loan, a small loan in your own name.
Yes, in my own name.
Yeah, no, that's no problem. That will appear on the CCO report. There's no problem with that. You may apply to Microfinance Ireland, even though you have other loan commitments with other institutions. Yes.
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much.
Good.
Thank you, Lorna. Thank you, Doctor.
Yeah. Thank
Thank
you.
everyone.
Are there any other questions that we want to flag with Mick or Lorna before we just have about 8 minutes to go?
And
No.
please, anybody, we have a huge understanding and appreciation that starting up your own business by yourself, it's a lonely place. But one lovely thought that I always share with people on these calls is that a diamond is a lump of coal that survived under huge pressure. So when you set up your own business, there will be pitfalls, there'll be good days, there'll be bad days. And that's why Microfinance Ireland, we are so different than the banks. We're at the end of the phone, we're at the end of an email. The assessor will be there to have a conversation with you as my credit team or my arrears team. When we give the loan out on day one, that's our relationship doesn't stop there. We're always here to support the business going forward. And our sole purpose is that then, as the business increases and improves, that we would hope to have the term then good to bank, that if your business needs a second loan, you can go to your bank or your credit union because you'll have a good repayment profile with Microfinance Ireland. And so we get some repeat referrals from existing customers who still cannot get bank deals done, but in the vast majority of people, they'll only get one loan from Microfinance Ireland, make a success of their business, and go to the bank for the next loan.
Just one more question. Sorry. How long does a business need to run for you to have an expansion loan?
And an expansion loan,
Like working capital loan there.
you may apply, okay, if your business is a startup, you may apply for a working capital loan. If your business is established, you may apply for a working capital loan.
If my business is less than a year,
That's fine. You may apply, because part of the documentation that we would look for is that you would have, if you're up and running maybe 9 months,
yeah.
you would have management information about sales, stock turnover, and that sort of basic information that would help us make the assessment for you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry, I have another question. What's your APR?
The
6.5%, Sarah, but if you go through the local enterprise office, you get the 1% discount, so it's 5.5%.
Okay. So at the moment it's 6.5.
Yes.
Right.
Okay.
Hi, Mick. Hi, Lorna. I have a quick question there. My name is Angela. I offer braiding services. I have a business that's been registered for quite some time now. I'm just asking around the full-time requirement for the loan. The way my week is structured is it kind of varies because I have clients that book. I could have a client or two on Monday, whereas I may not have a client on Tuesday, and I could have like 3 on Wednesday. So it varies week to week. How would that be addressed in terms of full-time requirement?
Very good question, Angela. Thank you for asking that. Our definition of a full-time job is that you're working 37 to 40 hours per week as an average on it. I totally understand that you might be quite early on the week and you get busy towards the weekends. But Angela, just please confirm, this is your full-time career as a braiding hair, as a hairdresser.
It is. But I also want to clarify as well, there are different elements to it because I do content creation around the business, offer training and braiding. So yeah, everything centers around this service, but it's full-time at the moment.
I mean, and ideally, Angela, we would like to think that you'll be so busy that you'll have to work 40, 50, 60 hours per week. But we have a huge appreciation that you may not be doing a full 40 hours per week every week in your business. But it's your full-time job, it's your full-time occupation.
Yeah.
You're not working in a Peter Mark salon Monday to Friday and doing this at night time yourself. This is your full-time career.
Yeah.
Yes, we would accept and entertain an application from you. Absolutely, yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mick. I don't think there's any other question coming in, but I'd like to ask if you can flag it with us again, or two things. For those who have businesses that are primarily online, are there any particular caveats that are there that are different from what you've highlighted? Or is
No,
it the
absolutely
same?
not. Online, I mean, a lot of businesses are now fully online. We accept that, and we've had to evolve our own credit processes to fit the new world. I mean, absolutely, we take those, and we see quite a few applications come in whose businesses are purely online. Yes, we do.
Excellent. And the second thing is, from your experience, are there particular reasons why applications are rejected? Are there?
Very good question. So for a helicopter view, or just a general observation, number one is that applicants to Microfinance Ireland, they have not fully understood the market that they're trying to break into. So location is one critical piece. Somebody identifies a location, we'll take it on High Street in Kilkenny, and say, oh, I'd love to open up a coffee shop there. But they have to be careful of the costs that they're taking, the rates, the rent, the lease agreement, all those pitfalls that they need to be so mindful of. And what we see is that a lot of businesses haven't fully researched their competitors or haven't sold us the unique selling point of their new business. And the huge point is that the cash flow forecast must be realistic, and you must have a full understanding that, again, as a simple example, somebody who's opening up a hairdressing salon, or take Helen's case there, where she wants to set up her own food shop and cook Nigerian food. From the cash flow that she generates from that, she has to replenish her food supplies every 2 weeks or 3 weeks or whatever else. So there's a continuous supply of source material to be cooked to generate the cash. A lot of businesses don't understand that in a period of time, they have to rebuy and restock their shelves from their own cash flow. So again, it's so important that the cash flow gets due diligence and attention at the opening, and ask any questions that we can help you out with at that process, please.
Excellent. Well,
Mikhail, I think, has a question.
Helen, do you have a question?
No, MIL.
You've answered my question.
Oh, okay.
Oh, sorry. Thank you.
Milkai. Yeah, okay. She's gone from the room. Right. Oh, Milkai, do you have a question?
Oh, sorry. No. I think I clicked it because I joined in late. I do apologize. Yeah. But I saw you were recording, so at least I can get the recording.
Excellent.
Thank you. Thank you, dear. Thank you.
Thank you.
Cool.
So, thank you very much, Mick. Thank you very much, Lorna. It's been a real pleasure and very insightful session, I must add. So if people have any questions,
inviting us on, hopefully it gave a good insight, and Mick, thanks for answering all the queries, and do get in touch if there's any other queries that you think of after this call.
Yes.
You can email us or get in touch directly. Mick or myself will be happy to help. Mick can answer all the credit related queries that you may have. Hopefully,
can you give us that email address again, please?
Sure. So queries@microfinanceireland.ie.
queries@microfinanceireland.ie.
Yeah, I'll pop it in the chat here actually, and maybe so everyone has it if that's easier.
Thank you.
Now, but we can send around a copy of these slides anyway.
Please.
So I'll just pop this in the chat now.
Excellent.
Yeah, but we'll send the slides around, so do get in touch if there's
and we definitely send the recordings to everybody, or a link to the recordings to everyone anyway, so we would to get that. Thank you very much, Lorna. Thank you, Mick. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you so much indeed for giving us the opportunity.
Thank you, Lorna. Thank you, Mick.
Thank you so much.